S5 II just doesn't have reliable autofocus. Oh! This video is sponsored by Found, a business banking app for freelancers and entrepreneurs. We'll talk about them later. Good morning.
Let's go get the groups. Come on. It's Nova, guys.
Back up.
Yeah, so welcome to our zoo. I start each day feeding these psychos, and it's actually a nice way to wake up and immediately start moving and grooving. Plus, we have it down to a science.
Oh, Nova, look at this. Wow. That looks incredible. Oh, she's actually going for it.
Most mornings, we have to do this little dance where I hug her for a certain amount of time before she'll eat her food. Yes, I know it's very manipulative, but gotta get her to eat somehow, and I get a morning snug, so, I mean, kind of a win-win. Bet you guys weren't expecting an epic collab today, but we got the man, the myth, Levi.
After I feed the pups, I usually take over parent duty and give Lauren some time to sleep since she handles the night shift so that I can work during the days.
Do you like Sony or Panasonic? The world wants to know. Okay.
After I hand Levi off, I really have to take advantage of my work hours.
My studio is an absolute mess right now.
I don't know about you guys, but I struggle to get anything done unless my space is relatively clean. And I suppose we better gear prep for our shoot with the Lumix S5IIX today, which I've borrowed from my buddy Connor.
Shout out to the company that sent me this backpack for free, Duder. They didn't even ask me to make a video about it. They were just like, hey, can we send you one of these to try out? And I was like, sure. Thanks, Duder. But what you all actually care about, the S5IIX, which we're gonna get to in a second. Just give me some time, okay? I'm a dad now. I got stuff going on. The Lumix 35mm 1.8, 85mm 1.8, and the 18mm. I need food, coffee, and water. And we're gonna read some comments on a video I made last summer where I was making a purchasing decision between this camera, the Sony FX30, and this camera, the Lumix S5IIX. Let's go. Nova, you're in charge. Make sure Indy does not eat cat poop. Indy, do not eat cat poop. Coffee, 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 food, 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 food. I tried to film this yesterday, but it didn't work out because I actually went to a therapy session. I went to the camera store to get a new microphone for the FX30. Hopefully it sounds good. Honestly, haven't tested it yet. And the timing just didn't work out with Connor and making this video. So we're trying again today. We're going to my favorite coffee shop. It's called Flower Your Dreams. I'm gonna go inside, get coffee and food, be right back. I acquired a cold brew and a beautiful breakfast sandwich from this place. So we're gonna read the comments on my comparison video between the Lumix and the Sony. If you already have a Sony, it makes sense to go with the FX30. I recently bought the S5IIX though. No viewfinder, what are we, animals? I agree. LMAO, Sony shooters are starting to show that they are just biased and Sony ponies, which is fine. Sony makes great cameras, but you can't complain about the S5IIX having a crop factor when the camera you choose is a crop sensor camera. I don't think he got the point. It's not the crop sensor that bothers me. It's the fact that the full frame sensor on the S5 crops insignificantly compared to full frame. Like, whatever. This isn't a fair comparison, honestly. You really needed a second Sony. That's why you chose the FX30. S5 II and S5IIX are far superior cameras compared to the A7S III and FX3, let alone the FX30. Lumix cameras produce images that actually look cinematic. That's not even worth responding to. S5 II just doesn't have reliable autofocus, especially if you're filming yourself or with several people in frame. Panasonic autofocus updates seem likely, which actually did happen recently. There was a firmware update apparently, and I don't know if it made it that much better, but we'll check today. That's the struggle with YouTube, is like, I can't make videos for your perspective. I can only make videos from my perspective. I was genuinely considering switching to Panasonic if I liked the S5IIX that much. I didn't, obviously. I liked what the FX30 offered for my perspective. No 10K, I'm good. The S5 is just better. Where's Sony's Open Gate? Where are the waveforms in this fake cinema camera? What does that look like? I don't understand why everyone compares the S5IIX to the FX30, not the FX3. FX30 is not a full frame camera. It's because it was way closer in price. I'm quitting, I'm deleting my channel! I mean, the S5IIX is by far the superior camera. Dude, you're a fun guy, fun vibes. Just stick to being that in honesty. You once had it, than just being a fanboy or affiliate farmhouse for brands. Wow, not the same at all. I sold the FX30 because there is no point in investing in more lenses when the S5 II does more for less money. Sorry, Jeff. Holy, oh! Jokes aside, comments aside, being straight up with you guys, I do understand like the frustration in a comparison like that because of the differences of the cameras and the fact that I was looking for a B cam for the A7S III, and it wasn't just like, I'm starting from scratch, what camera should I choose? One thing I want to stress is that I don't expect all the viewers of videos like that to know my channel's history, but if you do know my history, I was a GH4, GH5 fanboy, like for real, and I've always loved Panasonic's cameras, so I can't expect people to know that, but maybe you can know now that like I have a deep history with Panasonic, and I do love what they're doing and excited for what they'll continue doing. But okay, let's do some tests.
I think this is the perfect time to test the autofocus since Connor's S5IIX is not updated to the latest firmware. And I know autofocus isn't something that everybody cares about, but a lot of us filmmakers and creators are starting to lean more into it as a professional feature in our work.
So for right now, let's just forget about the FX30 stuff, forget about Sony, we're just focusing on a day in the life with the Panasonic camera. So I want to set it up on a tripod on this really nice little basketball court and just see what the autofocus is like before the big firmware update that happened recently. We're on the S5IIX testing autofocus. We're in Cinema 4K, 422, 10-bit, all intra. Will this actually look good? It's got human detection, autofocus turned on. It looks to be tracking. I mean, the box is like locked onto my face. I don't do too much craziness, you know, these autofocus tests are so goofy. If I was using this camera for what I do, I'd be standing like this, you know, and I might be moving around just a little bit. I'm excited for later on today. We're gonna be testing this camera with some incredible anamorphic glass that Connor's bringing, so that should be really fun, and we'll see what it looks like, I guess.
Based on that test, it seems like the autofocus is definitely good, but I want to see if Panasonic has made it even better with the latest firmware update.
How do I update it though, you know?
It took me a little bit, but I was able to get this camera updated, so let's try the autofocus now.
Initial filmmaking test.
But it's like, now what do I vlog the whole world? I don't know what to do.
Real talk, if Panasonic nails autofocus, imagine like their cameras essentially become the perfect blend of Blackmagic and Sony. Like they have vloggy content creator features of Sony, but the image quality and open gate, you know, all that kind of stuff with Blackmagic, like that's kind of nuts if they actually nail it. So
now it's time to meet up with my buddy Connor, the owner of this slick little black camera. And of course, I had to bust out a quick autofocus test right on his face just to establish dominance. But he's actually much cooler than me because he got access to Blazar's upcoming anamorphic Kato lens.
dude, that's sick.
This is the 50mm Blazar Kato. I don't think it's even available yet, but it is a 2x anamorphic.
And we're gonna throw it on this guy in a second. Speaking of whatever I was just talking about, back when I first got into filmmaking photography and learning the financial requirements of starting a business running it solo, I felt totally lost. But now, I'm found. Found is an all-in-one financial platform and banking app that makes it way easier to run a successful business. And it's actually the platform I'm switching everything over to run my business as a freelancer and YouTuber. Through Found, you can manage your profit and loss, track all of your expenses, send high-quality invoices, and more. My favorite feature of Found is that you can set it up to automatically take money out of what you make and save it for the next tax season so you don't screw yourself over down the road. Now, if you're somebody who pays other people to help you, like shooters, editors, whatever, you can actually pay them directly through Found and set it up where Found will mark them as a contractor and keep track of the 1099 info. You can use it to request W-9s. It's pretty freaking in-depth, but also very simple, which makes it so fun for somebody like me because I'm not overwhelmed by some gnarly looking UI. I think Found is something that will actually benefit you guys, which is why I'm recommending it. Check it out at the link below to support my work. It would mean the absolute world to me. So yeah, if you're feeling lost with money, get Found, baby. Okay, now we're back with an autofocus test part 2, updated firmware 2.0, and we have this stinky little dude in the video too. So we're gonna see if it can focus on me with him in the background first, just to see if it's gonna stick. It looks like it's focusing on me. Let's get a little closer, Connor. Right now it's recognizing both of our faces, but mine's highlighted yellow. It's gonna cross in front of me, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it sees you. You have a white box, I have a yellow one. Did it stay focused on me is the question. I don't know. Now let me come up toward the lens, see if it focuses.
And I'm sorry for all the autofocus talk, but this genuinely was the biggest thing holding me back from purchasing this camera last year. And it seems like Panasonic has dialed it in pretty darn well. But to really see the image quality of this camera, we threw the Kato 2X anamorphic on the Lumix and shot Connor's entire YouTube video with this setup. I gotta be honest, it's just mind-blowing to me that we can get this level of quality out of a tourist-sized camera rig nowadays. The image quality, the anamorphic lens, the stabilization in the camera, it all just really puts the minor discrepancies into perspective. What I'm trying to say is this thing friggin' rips. After shooting Connor's video, we took a cinematic coffee break to recharge before shooting one final anamorphic sequence for Connor's upcoming video. And man, as I'm looking back at this footage we shot, I'm kind of jealous of this camera in a sense. I love my FX30 for the sheer convenience, simplicity, and reliability it gives me day in and day out, but Lumix really does offer a fantastic blend of image quality and professional features. Over the years, they've done a great job of not crippling their cameras and instead just giving customers what they want. It kind of makes me want to snag one of their cameras to test over a long period of time, so we'll see what they come out with in the near future, and maybe I'll have to pick up a new dad cam. Anyways, if you guys enjoy this new Day in the Life series, show your support by liking this video and commenting what camera or tech I should try out next. Watch out for deer and text me when you get home so I know you're safe. You are so loved. God bless.